Negar Mortazavi. She's an Iranian-American journalist and commentator on U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East. Let me get you to react to that. Is that action-reaction? You hear a statement from Donald Trump, and then we see this.
I think this is what was expected, but basically the U.S. pulling out of the nuclear deal is not going to help the tensions in the region, and it is going to probably escalate the tensions either between Iran and U.S. or Iran and some of U.S. allies, and all kinds of proxy wars that are going on. It's not just Syria, there's Yemen, and then there's other areas and groups that Iran is supporting on one side and U.S. and its allies are on the other side. This is just going to contribute to more tension.
So a de-escalation, or not a de-escalation, I should say, probably escalation. You also heard Rory's story about the possibility that we could see an arms race underway. Trump says America is safer by tearing up the deal. John Wolfstall, who's a former senior director for arms control and non-proliferation at the National Security Council, wrote an op-ed piece in USA Today. I'm just going to quote it. He says, this action makes America weaker and less safe, and it opens the lid to a nuclear Pandora's box in the Mideast, which is what Rory was reporting on. What are some of the possible outcomes we could see as a result of this, do you think?
Well, a Pandora's box in general, because all kinds of reactions could come. It's a volatile region. You have to see what the Iranians are going to do. It seems like so far Iranians are not very reactionary. They've said that they might try to go on with the deal if the Europeans try to abide by it. So that could mean some kind of logical step taken by Iran. But if that doesn't work out as far as economic benefits for the Iranians, which is what they wanted as far as the deal, then the Iranians deciding to continue with their nuclear program inside Iran or to intensify their presence in the region with the kind of volatile situation that we are seeing, it's just going to make things get worse than it is right now.
Trump says he wants a better deal. He's unhappy with Iran and its behavior in the region. Yemen, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, the list is pretty long. He says Iran will negotiate or something will happen. Something will happen. What do you make of that, and how do you think that's going to be viewed in Iran? Does it sound like a threat?
It sure does sound like a threat. Nobody knows what it clearly means. We even listened to Secretary Mattis, and it's not very clear how they're going to make something happen or stop Iran. On the other hand, Iran is saying the U.S. is going to regret this decision. But the New Deal, let's talk about the New Deal. How are you going to make a New Deal when the deal you already had in place and the other side was abiding by? You basically unraveled. How is that going to bring Iranians back to the table to negotiate for something that's better and more? Basically, I think what President Trump is portraying is that he wants to take more without giving more. And that's basically not how you negotiate. If Iranians come to the table, they want to see more concessions in order for them to make more concessions. Otherwise, it's just going to be a one-sided force.
European leaders seem committed. All the statements we're hearing from them, they want to stick with this deal. But do you see it staying in place if they stay, or does it still have the possibility of unraveling, you think?
Well, I think it's difficult for the Europeans. We have to see how they're going to stand up, basically, to the main issues, U.S. sanctions. These secondary sanctions that are being put back in place are going to cast a shadow on European businesses. And Europe is America's biggest, oldest economic ally. How are they going to make a decision between the world's most powerful and largest economy and an economy like Iran? That's not a very easy choice to basically stand up to the U.S. economy. They can make political statements, but when it comes to actual practice for European companies who would have to make that decision, I don't think there's much the European governments can do to protect their companies against sanctions, basically.
Boris Johnson said that it doesn't appear Plan B does not seem to me to be particularly well developed at this stage, referring to the Trump administration. Do you see a strategy here?
I don't even know what the Plan B is. I'm not even sure if the administration knows what the Plan B is. It seems like the plan basically was to destroy what it is, and I think the president had made it pretty clear. He doesn't like this deal, and he said we're either going to get a better, newer deal, or we're just not going to get a deal. So without a deal, without this deal in place, and without a better deal, I don't even know what the Plan B looks like, but a lot of people are just more worried that some kind of military tension is going to be what eventually would come, not as a plan, but just as a consequence of this kind of decision making.
Negar, thanks so much for coming in, providing your analysis. Appreciate it.